I'm Timmy Conwell, Avon Football, and this is Ohio Sportsnet.
Hi, I'm Tim Conwell, and the first thing I'm going to talk about is know your assignment, which is one of the four aspects of just winning games. Hit, hustle, know your assignment, care about your teammates. Know your assignment. Got to be competitively excellent in every play. Trust each other on the field, and that's what will help us win games. And then I'm a long snapper. I play a little bit of receiver, a little bit of defensive back. And my fun fact is I'm starting wrestling this year, and I'm going to get my ass kicked, but at least I'm not going to quit like Blodgett and Norman.
It means everything. I've been doing this since 3rd grade, and I just want to make a huge run this year for senior year, last season. Last time I'll be on the field.
You've been voted as a captain. What does that mean to you?
Oh, it's awesome. Like, it just shows that everyone looks up to me and thinks I'm a leader for the team, so I got to embrace that role too.
Does that put any extra pressure or commitment or anything on you?
Definitely commitment. I committed myself way more this year than I have any other year, but any mindset, not really. I've always wanted to win, so nothing's changed about that.
Your older brother Robbie played in the program. How much of an advantage is that for you
compared
to other players?
Oh, it's a lot, because he used to tell me what we did. I don't know, it was a lot, because he would, same number, same position, I don't know, he just taught me a lot and got me used to it.
Do you almost feel like you're a tick above everybody because you almost experienced it earlier?
Maybe a little bit, but I don't know. It's a tough question.
Is there a teammate that maybe doesn't get the recognition that you think they deserve, but when you see them every day, they just wow you and stand out?
I think Drew Lindsay, he's a slot receiver too. He's going to be awesome this year. Lexi does a lot for the team that doesn't really get recognized, so I think those two are a big deal that people don't really talk about.
What are your expectations for the team this year?
I think once we get everything figured out, because there's a lot thrown at us right now, new guys are stepping up, but I think state championship for sure.
Nothing over here. This is Conwell on.
What's that going to take?
It's going to take execution. Once we know everything down, I think we got it. We got athletes everywhere. I think we got it this year, for sure.
Do some crazy things. You show up to lift at 5:45 in the morning, 2-a-days, all this stuff. What motivates you to show up?
Oh, just the brotherhood. It's awesome. Everyone's been doing this since 3rd grade maybe and on, and we all just, every year, we just do it for each other.
Who in your life is your role model? Whether it's a former player, whether it's a family member, whether it's a movie star, or whatever.
Definitely my brother.
I'm crazy!
He's my best friend, and we're always clicking. 80. He's going to get retired after this year.
He's going to get retired?
Yeah, they're retiring the jersey.
You think?
Yeah. You hear that, Coach?
What's that?
Number 80 is getting retired after this year.
Oh, yeah? That's what he said?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, you better have a really good year. You better dominate with the state championship.
It will.
And then we'll retire at 80.
All right.
Big expectations.
Hearing that right now.
It's a problem because we have 110 guys on the team, so to retire any number is going to be tough. But when we win a state championship and you have a great year, then we could retire.
Hear it right now.
It's on camera.
It's on camera.
I said maybe.
Oh, all right.
When you think Timmy Conwell, I always think about last year, early in the season, where Timmy was a guy for us that we thought was going to play some on Friday nights, and also at the beginning of the season dominate on JV to show us that he was ready for Friday nights, and he did just that. Coach Elder talks about it to all the kids right now that may be playing JV on Saturday morning. If you want to be a varsity player, you have to go out and dominate JV on Saturdays to show us that you're ready for that. And I think that's going to be a story that we're going to be able to tell for many years after this, to be able to motivate those young guys and make them understand that JV football still is important to us as well. Because against Massillon, they sent us the film after, and they put a comment with it and said number 81. And that was clear enough to them that, Massillon, a good program, says, hey, this guy should probably be playing on Friday nights. So, that always comes to mind, and we're always talking about that with our kids today. I remember I had the pleasure of coaching the senior group as freshmen. I was down with freshmen that year with them, and I feel like socially and just like being a silent leader, just because, his brother was so well known. So all those guys knew Timmy, the little Timmy at the time, and everybody looked up to him, because he was a silent leader, and he gets along with everybody.
What makes him such a great player?
His practice efforts. I think Coach Powell said a few weeks ago when he was this player of the day, he never has a bad day of practice, never. So he's the epitome of what we want to see in our guys on the practice field. You know, what you see on Friday nights, that's what you see in practice with Timmy, and not every guy's like that. He never has a bad practice.
How much is the team going to lean on him? Offense, defense, long snapping, everything?
Oh, big time. He's very important to us. I think about being an opposing team game planning for Timmy, and it must be a nightmare. Anytime he steps on the field, you have to know where he is, whether we have him in the slot, out at the X or Z position, and also on defense, being a lockdown corner as well. He's huge for us, and he's one of the best long snappers I've ever seen as well.
Timmy is one of the best wide receivers potentially to ever play here, and that says something because we've had really, really good players. If you meet Timmy Conwell and you look at him, the first thing that comes to mind is not football player. It's great kid, you know, high school student athlete, but when you see him on the field and getting in and out of breaks, he's very twitchy and runs great routes, has great hands, good football IQ and knowledge, and Timmy Conwell, without question, has a chance to be considered up there with some of the best receivers ever to play here, which is really prestigious company. When I played football and I was an offensive lineman, I was kind of an undersized offensive lineman, so I carried a chip on my shoulder, and I think Timmy carries that same chip. Last year as a junior, I'll tell his story for 10 years to come. You know, he started out the season as a JV player, and justifiably so. We had a lot of kids at his position who were returning starters, you know. There's no shame in being a backup at Avon because there's some great players on this team who would start for a lot of local schools, but they have to know their role and play it. And he was disappointed that he wasn't a starter at the beginning of his junior year. He didn't pout or mope about it. You could tell he was frustrated and didn't agree with our decisions, but what he did is he went to work, and then he went to JV games and stood out as the best player on the field. I mean, it was impossible not to notice him. And if kids do that in our program, they get our attention and they'll be playing on Friday nights. Some kids think they're getting shortchanged, and then they go play on Saturdays and they blend right in. If you blend in on Saturdays, you're where you need to be, and you still need another year of development. Timmy was ready to play varsity football at the beginning of his junior year. It's everything we want out of our football players, which is that perseverance and that relentless approach to getting better. And in our program, we always talk about having a plan A, B, and C. And if you lose a plan A due to injury or for some other reason, the next guy steps up and has to do their job. And so Timmy was a plan B for a while, and looking back on it, it's hard to believe that he was ever a plan B, but he was, and I just love the way he handled it. Again, he made us play him. He demanded to be played through his performance.